Well, we just made a Bobo, so no one's seen it, so because I deleted it. But I just did 10 minutes of reading these names until I realized I accidentally hit the pause button and I was still talking and I was like, oh crap, so maybe we have to go back now and restart because I wasted 10 minutes. Yeah. But we're going to go back. Anywho, restart from the beginning. All right. It's just 10 minutes, guys, It's okay. But anyway, this is video 16 in the Vietnam War series. 58,000 Lives, a tribute to Fallen. Maybe I'll get it right better this time. There's not really any reason to update. I'm on 360 something. I did the update earlier in the first video. I did that at 358, and I'm on number 301. So by the time I get this video done, I only have 40 names ahead, which is 2 videos worth. So I need to catch up, do more writing before I catch up and have a stalemate. But we're gonna keep going, and I just can't believe I talked for 10 minutes. I should have saved it, but I don't want to load 2 videos and have to do all the editing, so I just redid it. I'm kind of smiling because I was just talking about funny stuff, and I realized that I wasn't recording any of it. Is what it is. I was only one, two, three, four, five names in, so 5 out of 20. We was only 25% of the way through. Let's go back and restart. It's going to start off with a very somber person, so I'm not smile for a minute because this one's heartful, and then maybe I'll smile again after it's over with. But anyway, let's just restart where we was at. Number 301, SP4, Michael Dwayne Atkins. Sorry, I didn't get to do this before. And I did not look in the information on this guy on purpose. And you want to know why? I left it where it was at. I don't want to know anymore. I left it where it was at for his privacy. Michael Dwayne Atkins, born September 23rd, 1951 in Jamestown, Ohio, died February 13th, 1971. He was 19. He was with the Track Vehicle Repair 156 Maintenance Company, 92nd Service Battalion, 80th General Support Group, 1st Logistics Command. Do you need that many titles? We didn't have that many in the Navy. It was reported that Atkins took his own life. So I left it at that. Didn't look up on purpose. I left it for his privacy. He's on panel 5W, line 101 of the War Memorial. Let's give SP4 a second moment of silence. Michael Atkins. And we thank them for their service a second time. They're getting double duty. Now, I'll get back to where I was at in a minute. I'm back to smiling because it was funny. This is Private First Class Norman Dale Atkins. I apologize if I speed read through these, but I want to get back to where I was at. Come on, camera. What takes you so long to freaking adjust? Hello? I'm down here. Thank you. God dang webcams. PFC Norman Dale Atkins, born October 27, 1950 in Bedford, Ohio. Died April 25th, 1970. He was 19. Kong Tum, Vietnam. He was a door gunner on an Avenger 158 UH-1C. He'd only been in Vietnam for 1 month when his helicopter was shot down. He was MIA until his body was recovered in July or August 1970, so he was MIA for 3 or 4 months. 4 crew were killed. He's on panel 11W, line 48 of the War Memorial. I said this in the first 10 minutes, but anyway, if you were standing in front of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., and you're looking up and you see big old Abe sitting there, look to your right. There's a path that takes you right to the memorial. You need to see it. I've been there twice. I will go a third time. It's a great thing to see. I can't believe I have to go back over this again. This is Private First Class Ronald Eugene Atkins. Good thing I didn't delete any of their pictures, which happens. I have the space bar right in front of my notebook, and I think I hit the space bar in it. PFC Ronald Eugene Atkins, born December 21st, 1943 in New Hawka, Nebraska. Died August 29th, 1968. He was 24. He was with L Company, 3rd Battalion, 7th Marine, 1st Marine Division. Was making a uncovered movement on Operation Sussex Bay to establish blocking positions. It means they were uncovered. They weren't hiding in the bushes. They were walking out normally, out in the open, uncovered. They were ambushed on 3 sides by enemy. 9 were killed. He died from hostile wounds. So they were trying to set up blocking positions, but they wasn't covered. He's on panel 46W, line 55, the War Memorial. Let's give PFC Ronald Eugene Adams a moment of silence. Thank him for his service. I forgot to tell you about the ghost because I was just trying to fix these last 10 minutes. But if you go to video 5 in the series, this is video 15. Go to the 10-minute, 10-second mark, and right here you will see a ghost. Figure out that. I'm trying not to hit the space bar and have to do this again. If I hit it again, I'm not doing it 3 times. I will save it and clip it and all that good stuff. This is Corporal Terry Lee Atkins. Born July 6, 1949 in Dupo, St. Clair County, Illinois. Died May 11, 1969. He was 19 in Quang Nam, Vietnam. He was with L Company, 5th Marines, 1st Marine Division, 3rd Battalion. Died from small arms fire, only information I could find. He's on panel 25W, line 45 of the Wall Memorial. Once again, let's thank Corporal Lee Atkins for his service and give him a moment of silence. Okay. Now, I was on this one. I finished this little one we're on right here after I got done with this next one. I'll get to the funny part. But anyway, this is Boatswain's First Class Wayne Lawrence Atkins. And the only reason I know that because I was in the Navy. If you go back to the last video, I do some talking about some Navy stuff. Not classified, so don't worry about it. He was born May 13, 1945 in Dryersburg, Tennessee. Died October 19, 1969. He was 24. That was me, not a ghost. In Long An, Vietnam. Boatswain's Mate First Class, River Division 573, River Squadron 57, Task Force 116. Died from artillery fire. It's on panel 17W, line 89 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give BM1, Wayne Lawrence Adams, a moment of silence. We thank them for their service. Now, this is where I hit the pause button. And I'm at 7 minutes, and I was at 10 minutes last time, so I shaved 3 minutes off. I guess I blabbed a little too much. But anyway, I'm screenshotting these pictures of these guys so I can show you their faces, right? But then I take pauses of doing these. I don't try to do 1,000 of them at one time, so I'll do 10, 15 names. And then I'm also a social media influencer. So on my TikTok or CapCut, I screenshot pictures off the internet and use them for funny TikToks using CapCut, right? Well, anytime one of them shows up on my phone in between their pictures, I show you guys because it's funny. I like to spice it up a little bit, just do something completely different. And I called this guy an idiot in the CapCut, so I figured I'd show you the picture I downloaded. And then I went, oh yeah, here's another one. I used Doge in a lot of them. A lot of crying liberals. And then a selfie. And then another selfie. And then I went and cleaned out a storage unit. So I got 3 pictures of the storage unit. And then I got to this part right here. This is when 2 minutes shaved because there's 8 minutes now. This right here is when I realized I was talking for no reason. So I shaved 2 minutes off. Okay. We have a donation store here. I'm sitting in it. It's called American Collection Donation Store. We take donations in our local community. What we sell, we give back to the community or we help veterans. And I want to be like Goodwill. I want to be better than Goodwill, but I want to be like Goodwill. So I seen this picture of this building on TV the other night in a commercial. So I screenshot it because it's exactly what I want my building to look like. It's a Sleep Number. Bad company. But this is what I want my building to look like. Whenever right now we're in an old, dang it. I want it to look right. Hold on. It's hard to tell with that stupid light on there. But anyway, there's glass panels. But that's what I wanted the building to look like. And then there's a couple of videos. I can skip to those of the actual storage unit because for TikTok I put them on there. Now here we go. Back to where I was supposed to be at. And the reason why I screenshotted that was for the future. I'm in an old 1950s building now, but one day. Anyway, let's get back to where I was at, and I'm right at the 10-minute mark again, so I'm doing pretty good. We are at Staff Sergeant James Willie Atkinson. And you can tell the pictures changed. So that night I did a couple on the computer and screenshotted it with my phone. Took a picture. That's why these few pictures look different. It depends on how I do them. If I use my phone, I screenshot the whole screen, and that's why they look different. Okay, this is Staff Sergeant James Willie Atkinson, born November 7th, 1934. In Boulder, Colorado, died October 7th, 1966. He was 31. In Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, he's the 22nd Tactical Squadron Air Support 550 Attack Air Control Group. Also a Korean War veteran. Died from diabetic acidosis while in hospital. So he died from non-hostile, died from diabetic shock. It sucks, right? I know it's terrible. Okay, and I don't think I even said it earlier. Well, I said it in the first 10 minutes, but we're gonna do a podcast down the road. So I'll put stars next to the bronze stars, silver stars, medal of honors, and special stories that I want to look further into when I read them for the future. So I put stars next to their names so I don't have to go back and find them. They're right there. I don't have to go back and read every single person's name. All right, 3 more TikToks from the storage unit. I can skip those. And then here's a couple more ones I did off the computer. You can tell the difference. This is MSGT, that Master Sergeant Henry Adler. You can tell the picture's a little different than the other ones. He was born July 23rd, 1929 in Missouri. Home record is Boulder, Colorado, but he was born in Missouri. Died February 4th, 1968. He was 38 in Thien Hue, Vietnam. He was with Battery C, 2nd Battalion, 20th Artillery Regiment, 1st Cavalry Division. He was on a UH-1C helicopter. All crew had died except pilot. Aircraft was shot down. The pilot O'Connor was captured as a POW till March the 5th, 1973. Trying to save troops under heavy fire, it was low overcast, so they flew at 5 to 10 foot from the deck. They took hundreds of hits from small arms fire. Now, whoever wrote this paragraph, I just copied it, should have wrote that completely different. They should have wrote what they was flying in, how they were flying, and then went back to who died. But it's like it was all over the place. So I'm just gonna leave it at that instead of reread. I would have wrote that. It's all scrambled. The lines should be set in different spots. They just threw random lines in there, and it should have started with other sentences. I don't know. But anyway, you get the point. I would have wrote that different. He's on panel 37E, line 17 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give Master Sergeant Henry Adler a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. Okay, this is Staff Sergeant Thomas. Where did I mess up? I just messed up. Hold on. Sometimes we have a mess up. It happens. Okay. The one from Ho Chi Minh City. I showed the wrong picture. Did I show the wrong picture? Okay, this is Henry Adler. I don't know if I actually showed the wrong picture or not. This is Henry Adler. The one we did before was James Willie Atkinson. I might have, I don't know. I could have messed up, and I might have feel like I messed up, and I really didn't. So I'll just move on because I will drive myself crazy trying to be perfect. That's how I always do it. So we'll just try not to be perfect here. This is Staff Sergeant Tom Robert Adler. Here we go. Oh, I can't wait to get back to the regular pictures. I'll try not to do them on the computer no more. It was just more convenient when the computer's easier to do than the phone. But I'd rather use the phone because the pictures look better. Okay, he was born January 10th, 1924 in Poland. Died May 23rd, 1971. He was 47 in Vietnam. He was Special Forces SB-4 Company 77 Special Forces Group. He was a combat engineer with D Company 39th Engineering Battalion, 45th Engineering Group, 18th Engineering Brigade. In 1971, there were still 6 battalions left as the U.S. accelerated a force reduction in Vietnam. So they were trying to get everybody out of Vietnam. So this was the very end of the war. During a mission by Tam Kai, he became hospitalized from illness. He was diagnosed with a series of abdominal infections and upper gastrointestinal bleeding complicated by falciparum malaria. the deadliest form for U.S. humans. He dies of respiratory failure 5 days after being in the hospital. See last photo. Oh, I got a little information to read. So basically, he got malaria from a mosquito, more than likely, and kind of died from complications from it. He's on panel 3W, line 52 of the War Memorial. I'm going to read what I have in here. It says, read last photo. I don't know why I saved this, but apparently I saved it for a reason, so I'm going to read it. His wife, Miss Anita A. Adler, requested that the Army friend of her husband, SFC Tedor W. Padalinsky, be granted permission to escort his body to the home in the former West Germany. However, command staff from the 8th Army in Korea, where Padalinsky was stationed, disallowed the request, stating he was not eligible because he was not a member of the family and had not completed his tour in Korea. Adler, who we just read at 47, was a 19-year veteran of the Army. He enlisted, crazy name in Poland, I don't even know, before 1924 after immigrating to the United States from Wani, Poland, now Lithuania, later taking an Americanized name. He was laid to rest in Bavaria, today part of the Federal Republic of Germany. So they tried to get his body back, but the guy that they used wasn't part of the family, so he couldn't get the request in. I just thought that was important. I think that's why I took a photo. And here's another one of those random photos in between. This, I decided to take a Marvel timeline. Two videos ago, I think I had a picture of the Marvel video timeline, like when you can watch it in chronological order. Now I have all of the stories, the complete timeline. So if you want to watch the actual history of timeline, like go back in the day, of course, Captain America would be first, and then it goes to Agent Carter, Captain Marvel, because hers was in like the 80s, then Iron Man. But it's the chronological order timeline. I don't know, I just thought that was interesting and I saved it. Okay, little sidetrack there, but let's go on to I love this name every time I hear it. This is SP4 Woodrow Dennis Adler. I just love the name Woodrow. It's not because of Woodrow Wilson, the president, but we have a lady that comes in our store and her son's named Woodrow. He's maybe 8, 9 years old, and who names their kid in 2025 Woodrow? You know, it's awesome. I love his name. I always, every time he comes out, I say Woodrow. Really great kid. He was born August 16, 1946 in El Paso, Texas. Died November 26, 1967. He was 21 in Dong Nay, Vietnam. He was with the 1st Aviation Brigade, 222nd Aviation Battalion. He was a passenger on a U-1A Otter fixed-wing aircraft. It crashed and burned on takeoff. It was reported that they hit a cable from a crane. It came engulfed in flames, preventing rescue. Some died and some were sent to Japan, but they all eventually succumbed to their injuries. 2 crew. Now I have 2 different numbers on 2 different sites. I have one that said 6 passengers, 2 crew. That would be 8. Another one I had read said 9 total. So that's 2 crew and 7 passengers. I don't know which one is accurate, so I wrote them both down. You guys can look for yourselves. At least 2 crew, 6 or 7 passengers perished. They hit a freaking cable on a crane. How ridiculous is that? So panel 30E, line 87 of the Wall Memorial. And I read the guy's name, but I don't think I did the last one either. So let's go ahead and do a moment of silence for Woodrow Dennis Adler and Thomas Robert Adler. I thank them both for their service. I think I might have missed that. See, I try to go back if I screw up. I might have done it. If I did, I just did it twice. No big deal. But if I didn't, I want to make sure I get every single one of their names. Every single one of them gets a moment of silence. Every single one of them gets a thank you for their service. All 58,000. They're all heroes to me. Okay, this is Lance Corporal Larry Eugene. I'll start doing Donald Trump. This is Lance Corporal Larry Eugene Adolf. And we don't like the name Adolf. I can't do Donald Trump. I'm just saying. We don't like the name Adolf. Even though everybody called him Hitler or whatever. This is Lance Corporal Larry Eugene Adolf. I start adding some comedy to these. I mean, I want to be respectful, so I try to be somber, but I understand it's very boring videos, and I want people to watch. So anyway, he was born July 8, 1949 in Good Land, Kansas. Boy, that's some good land. Died May 9th, 1968. He was 18 in Quang Tri, Vietnam. He was a D Company, 1st Battalion, 26th Marine, 3rd Marine Division. Died from hostile small arms fire. Only info I could find. He's on panel 57W, line 12 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give Lance Corporal Larry Eugene Adolph a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. This is First Lieutenant Joseph Daniel Joe, in parentheses, Adrian. Joseph Daniel Adrian, aka Joe. I try to always tell. Now, there's a guy that I went to school with named Joe. His name is actually. Why am I having a complete brain fart? I don't know why I do this. Was it Joe? Oh my god, he's gonna kick my butt. Anyway, when I was in the Navy, I came home from Japan. I had a car wreck. He was with me. Blah blah blah. Long story short, his brother, a couple years younger, don't remember his name either, looked identical to this guy. His younger brother did. I had to show it. Hopefully he watches it. I mean, looks just like his younger brother. I know it's not Joe. Why am I calling him Joe? Please don't get mad at me. That's gonna beat me up if I don't think of his name correctly. I mean, I see him. I mean, we grew up together. I see him in my. I mean, I just see him right here in front of me, and I can't remember his name. That's so terrible. He was born August 2nd, 1942, in River Edge, New Jersey. Died March 12th, 1967. He was 24. And PHUVEN, I never can pronounce that one correct, Vietnam, 308 Tactical Squadron. His Super Sabre, aka F-100D, on a night scramble, he crashed about 6 miles from the end of the runway. His remains were never recovered. I don't know if he crashed in land or water. I don't know. He's on panel 16E, line 67, the Wall Memorial. Let's give First Lieutenant Joseph Daniel Joe Adrian a moment of silence. Thank him for his service. I'm gonna sit here and try and think of this guy's name. If I was to find out and call him and tell him I forgot his name, he'd be like, "You dummy!" All the times we spent together as friends and hanging out and playing video games and watching the Cowboys, and we had sleepovers back when we was younger. Jason, got it. His name's Jason. I don't remember his younger brother's name, but that looks like Jason. Sorry, Jason. Looks like Jason's brother. Why did I call him Joe? Well, at least I had the first letter correct. Hey, this is Lance Corporal David Lee, AERTS, so I don't know if it's Eretz. I'm going to go with Eretz. I think that sounds right. David Lee Eretz. Hey, down here, camera. Born May 17, 1947 in Ludington, Michigan. Died December 19, 1968. He was 21 in Quang Tri, Vietnam. He was with CAP 414, CAP 41, 4th Combined Action Group. Died on the USS Sanctuary 10 days after receiving small arms fire. Oh yeah, this was a crazy coincidence. He's on panel 36W, line 43. Let's give Lance Corporal David Lee Eretz a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. The reason why this was a coincidence was Lance Corporal David here is number 313. Now, if you go down to 314, the next guy on the list, they were born the exact same day, but 2 years off. It wasn't an exact day. David Lee Eretz was born May 17, 1947. This guy was born May 17, 1949. It was just crazy that I went from two different people and had the same birthday. Now, the same date would have been even cooler. But this is Chief Warrant Officer David Keith Ashleman. Same birthday, different year. Born May 17, 1949. Died January 16, 1970. He was 20. Vietnam. He was a B Troop, 3rd Squadron, 17th Cavalry Regiment, 1st Aviation Brigade. He flew an AH-1G Cobra helicopter, crashed after receiving heavy arms fire. Only information I can find. I know there's got to be more out there. He's on panel 14W, line 37 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give Chief Warrant Officer David Keith Ashleman a moment of silence. And we thank him for his service. Okay. This is Captain Mark Afflerbach. I don't think I messed that name up. Afflerbach. Mark Afflerbach. Born June 8, 1945 in Leavitttown, Pennsylvania. Died March 7, 1971. He was 20. I don't make sure I have that correct. 45 to 71. I want to do my math right. I don't want to be wrong. So that'd be 25, 26, but he wasn't his birthday yet, so he was 20. He should be 25. Quang Tri, Vietnam. Armored Recon Unit Commander. Pilot. F Troop, 8th Cavalry Regiment on an AH-1G. After 1 hour of normal recon, it experienced a main rotor hub assembly separation. So if you think about the blades, the center of the blades is the hub that holds the blades together. It experienced a main rotor hub assembly separation at an altitude of 700 feet. So if the blades start coming off, it's going down. 700 feet off the ground. It struck the ground at a 90-degree angle to the slope of the terrain. It then exploded from unexpended fuel and ordnance. Both men died. So there was only 2 men on there. But that's insane. Helicopter comes apart, falls down, explodes with all the ordnance. I can understand that. But he's on panel 4W, line 30 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give Captain Mark Afflerbach a moment of silence. Thank him for his service. This is SP for Anthony Philip Agar. Agar. Born December 12th, 1944 in Larchmont, New York. Died May 7th, 1969. He was 21. In Thien Hue, Vietnam. 2nd Brigade, 101st Airborne, HHC. A fire and explosion occurred in the ammo storage area at the base. He died as a result of. He's on panel 25W, line 16. That's crazy. Let's give SP4 Anthony Phillips Agar a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. This is Corporal Robert Lee Agar. He was born October 28, 1948 in Wheeling, West Virginia. He died a day after his birthday. We had a lot of the birthdays in the last video. Died October 29, 1967. So he was born October 28, 48, died October 29, 1967. So he turned 19, and then the next day died. In Thien Hue, Vietnam. He was an A Company, 1st Battalion, 4th Marine, 3rd Marine Division. Died from an explosive device. Only information I could find. He's on panel 28E, line 94 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give Corporal Robert Lee Agar a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. This is, okay, I'm not going to make fun of the guy, but it's a funny story, but I'm not going to make fun of him. You guys know who the Blue Man Group is. When you see the pictures, you see all 3 of them have bald heads, and they have their faces painted blue. This guy looks like he's a member of the Blue Man Group, but he's a black guy, so I'm not making fun of him for being black. I'm just saying he looks like a black version if they put black face paint on. I know he's black, but he looks like Blue Man Group, but a black version. It's a Private Roland Nathaniel Agard. See what I mean? Doesn't he look like one of the Blue Man Group? I said he's the Black Man Group. Woo! He was born October 7th, 1948, in New York, New York. Died September 23rd, 1969. He was 19. Quang Tri Vietnam. He's with L Company, 3rd Battalion, 3rd Marine Regiment, 3rd Marine Division. Died when a Marine accidentally discharged his .45 caliber pistol. It was ruled an accidental homicide. I think that one deserves a star, don't you? Look into that one a little bit more. He's on panel 18, W line 127 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give Private Roland Nathaniel Agard a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. Sorry that happened, guy. This is SP4 Timothy Charles Agard. Timothy. Died July 13th, 1948. Died. Born July 13th, 1948 in Hartford, Wisconsin. Died February 19th, 1968. He was 19 in Ha Nam, Vietnam. He was with HHC 5th Battalion, 60th Infantry Regiment, 9th Infantry Division. See photos. Oh, God, I got a bunch of more writing to read. All right, let's try to do this without pausing. Okay, here we go. Timothy Agard, born. I did not ask for Gemini. I did not ask for your help, so leave me alone. Okay, based in the Mekong Delta area, just south of Saigon, Tim was attached to the 9th Infantry Division, the Old Reliables headquarters company. Was one of two mechanized groups attached to the 9th at the time. These consisted of armor personnel carriers, APCs, known as tracks, and were consistently used in combat offensive tactics, along with other infantrymen. Tim was wounded in a combat firefight late on the night of February 16, 1968. He died to the 19th. Okay. Although Tim's training was as a corrections specialist for the Army, everyone in Vietnam was prepared to be used in both offense and defensive actions as needed. Tim was called into a combat mission that day. The last video I did earlier, video 615, I explained there was another guy who died, and I explained they were all trained to use weapons. He was a typist. Still, you use what you're supposed to be used for training. They were all trained with weapons. So, according to the eyewitness report, Tim died for his country with valor. Here we go. On February 16, 1968, HHC 560 was pulling security for a fire support base artillery compound outside a town called Kai Lay in Long An province. We had responded to one of the infantry line companies that was in a running firefight with an unknown sized enemy force. We was part of the recon group attached to headquarters. When we arrived at the scene and joined the other company, they had lost contact with the VC, Viet Cong. So we got off our tracks and started to go across the rice paddy. This was just around midnight. Tim, a guard, we just talked about, was on my right, and a black soldier was on my, by the name Corporal Cullen Quinn, was on my left. We had gone about 150 yards, and Tim was walking beside a dike about 15 yards to my right. Suddenly, he screamed ambush as I swung to my right. A Viet Cong was firing onto Tim at point blank range. I shot the gook, and then another one popped up, and we shot each other. So he shot the guy that was charging a guard. I was paralyzed from the waist down from the impact of the bullet. I tried to crawl over to Tim, but the firefight was so heavy I could not get to him. Quinn was on my left, and a guy by the name of PFC Gerald Milbrote was also killed soon thereafter. I crawled back towards the road using my elbows and finally got back, but I didn't know how long it took, as it seemed like forever. The firefight went on until almost daybreak, when I was put on a dust-off helicopter evacuation with other wounded. I was told later that the Viet Cong enemy force was very large and that 560 was responsible for a large enemy killed that night. Later reports show the size exceeded 500 enemy. I will never forget this night, and I believe that Tim saved my life. He will always be a part of my life, and I have visited him at the wall several times. After evacuation back to the Army Field Hospital, Timothy Agard died of his wounds February 19th, 3 days later. There was a lot of writing, that's why I just saved the photo. He's on panel 40E, line 17. Let's give SP4 Timothy Charles Agard a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. Okay, last one we're going to read of the night on video 16. number 320, and I need to do some more name writing. So I probably won't do a video for a couple days. So I got to get ahead. I love writing and learning these names, but it's so much easier just to read them. But I got to do it. Okay. This is LTC Frederick Gustav Agather. Imagine how to type that name out. Frederick, aka Rocky, nickname Rocky. So Frederick Rocky Gustav Agather. Born July 7, 1929 in Stearns County, Minnesota. Died June 1st, 1969. He was 39 in Quang Tum, Vietnam. 21st Advisory Team, Headquarters, Military Assistant Command. Died from small arms fire. Only information I can find. He's on panel 23W, line 34 of the Wall Memorial. Let's give LTC Rocky Agather a moment of silence. We thank him for his service. All these guys are heroes. All 58,000 heroes. I will get to all of them. Thank you guys. If you like this, I'm trying to get a little bit goofier in them just so I can spice them up a little bit. I love these guys. They're all heroes in my book. They're all going to get their moment of silence, and we're going to read every one of them's name. But if you like this, if you got a family member that was died in Vietnam, you want to find out who they are, follow along with me, subscribe, comment if I did something right or wrong, and we'll continue to grow doing this together and start the podcast later so we can get more in depth and everything. But thank you guys, and it sucks that I had to do 10 extra minutes, but hey, I shouldn't hit the space bar. Anyway, I'll see you on video 17 when I get to it.